Welcome back, Eagle family. Joseph Swanson here with head women's tennis coach Josh Warren. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you very much.
So, you've had a few practices now heading into your season opener next week. How have things been going so far throughout the preseason?
Great. We're a smaller team this year. We lost a bunch of post-pandemic players that had been on the team for 5. One was even on the team a couple years ago for 6 years.
Right.
And so we're a smaller group, but have a lot of depth, and they're all excellent attitudes, and I think we're going to do great.
So this team's a little different than the team in the past. Last fall, you had a lot of returners, and then a lot of those left mid-year, and then a lot of these got to play in the spring. So they have had a chance to compete in matches and actually got to play in the NCAA tournament last year. So what are you looking forward to see out of them in your season opener?
Yeah, I think they learned a lot last year from the upperclassmen that have mostly moved on. There's still a few around, and so I think last year was a great learning experience for them, getting to play in doubleheaders. And I think this year we're already focusing on the right things. I could tell that just our first practice, we're in a better shape than our first practice last year. I think they're locked into what they need to do. So honestly, for us, a lot of it is just keeping open-minded to continued learning and focusing on the right things at the right moments and just enjoying it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've been fortunate now. I think we talked about this a while back. 10th season now.
Yeah.
I think you've got 6 or 7 NAC titles. I think 5 in a row. Could potentially be 6 this year. As a coach, does that play a factor into how the season goes, or are you just playing things one match at a time?
I'd say both. This year we're happy to have Leslie back in our conference because we've always had competitive matches with them that we've usually come up on top by a little bit. So it's nice to have them back, and Eastern Nazarene, who we have not played before, and we know that I think we'll have a good match with them too. And I think what I've been telling the ladies on our team is, even though we've won 5 in a row with the NAC, that it's nice to have some fresh competition, and you never know what other schools like Thomas may bring to the table this year, and that it's good to have some challenges. So on one hand, I think we have the confidence as a team, and we have mostly from really good team cohesion, and on the other hand, we're just going to play and let it ride and see how we do.
And you and I talked about this a little bit last year, where I'm coming from, tennis is actually a spring sport.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved up here, it was a little bit different. That women's tennis goes in the spring, women's tennis goes in the fall. Men's tennis goes in the spring. How do you plan as a coach to? I mean, that's tough. That your championship's in the fall, and then you get maybe 2 or 3 matches in the spring if you win the conference championship to get ready for NCAA. So, how do you try to get the bulk of your work in the fall and then anticipate the spring?
Yeah, that's a little tricky. If we can win the fall NAC and have the opportunity to go to NCAAs, then that of course will extend our spring season a little longer into May to get a little more practice. We will pretty much always be at a disadvantage compared to teams that have their main season in the spring, where they're coming off of 10 plus matches in the spring from a competitive match play standpoint. So to try to combat that, we like last year, we scrimmaged University of Maine co-ed club team, which was a blast, and we'll maybe try to do that again. We did a weekend in Boston, which we hadn't always done in spring competition. So I think just getting that feel of matches, and we do more within team squad match play type situations. The fall, this first week, we really work on skills and what we need to work on throughout the long haul of the year, and the spring is a little more focused on match play and how we practice to be able to handle that.
And then lastly, a different feel from this year's team from the past. I mean, before you've been pretty much junior to senior driven, especially in your starting 6. This year, I mean, you're going to have a lot of sophomores, juniors. I think you've only got 1 senior in your whole lineup. So as a coach, what does that mean for you, knowing that you've kind of started over? You moved the group that had won multiple titles in a row, and now you're starting over with a younger group that can build off of that and has a chance to develop.
That's true, in a way. And however, our 1 senior, Molly Chacoin, she's just been so awesome to have the past 4 years, and she has such a vibrant energy that she influences the rest of the team. So we do have strong leadership there with her and Emily Doughton as co-captain. So we still feel that strong senior presence or upperclassman presence. And I think the freshmen last year, there was a large crew of them. Already as sophomores, you can tell they've kind of gotten the groove at school and are a little more settled into the program. So we have one freshman, Kayla, that will be a great addition to the team, and then another player that jumped on a little bit later in her school years. So I think it's a good mix, and yeah, the energy of it all feels really good.
Well, that's all the questions I've got. I want to wish you the best of luck heading into your season opener, and then as the season progresses. Tennis team opens up at home in Old Town, Maine on Labor Day, September 4th against Thomas College. Thank you.
Appreciate it.